Hello world, Dad Chef. We're making some baby food. These beautiful little pucks are so easy to thaw out and serve your child, you're going to wonder why you ever bought Gerber in the first place. Starting off strong with some healthy carrots. I'm not going to wash them, I'm just going to peel them. And don't worry, I will speed it up. Grab a sharp knife, we're going to cut the edges off here, tops and bottoms, and I'll just give them a rough chop. We're just going to steam these carrots, so the actual cutting of them doesn't need to be very exact. Set those off to the side, grab yourself a steam pot. I chose to steam these carrots because I think that more of the nutrients would stay in the carrot if I did it this way opposed to blanching them in boiling water. I noticed that the boiling water tends to take the color, and I would imagine the nutrients as well. So I've got about 1 inch, 2 inches of water in that lower pot, just enough to get some steam going. Throw a tight sealing lid on the top. And we'll find the perfect medium-high temperature. So these butternut squash, now I was going to peel them, and my peeler didn't want to cooperate, so I'll show you what to do if that happens. Just drive that knife down the center, and it's going to have a lot of resistance. So to remove these seeds, you can just grab a regular old kitchen spoon. The larger ones I find work better, but just dig it into the middle and twist. Remove all those seeds and gunk that you don't want your baby eating. So we got this Pyrex container here. We're just gonna throw those in there, top it with foil. No need to add any water or anything, they'll just steam up inside there. Plenty of moisture in the butternut itself. Next we got these sweet potatoes here, and you're going to want to wrap them delicately. I tried the first time and I ripped the foil on the edge of the potato, and just a tight seal. We're going to roast these off with the butternut at the same time. Your arm's in it.
Yeah, you told me to do it.
Do what?
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
About an hour and 15 minutes later, you've got some beautiful baked sweet potatoes. And these bad boys are hot. I'd recommend letting them cool down before trying to unwrap them. And after ignoring my own advice, we are removing the potatoes from the foil and setting them off to the side. Now in hindsight, I definitely would have lined this pan with parchment or foil, but I ended up just scrubbing it. So you're going to want to grab yourself a small paring knife or butter knife. We're going to set that knife down the center of the potato. The old steamy boys. That's what I call the potatoes. I actually do that too, so you can ask anyone. Grab yourself a mixing bowl. I've got this stainless steel bowl here, and we'll just use a spoon to remove the potato from the skin. They should come out pretty easily after they've been baked for so long. Set the skin aside. You're going to want to make sure not to get any of those little brown nodules at the end of the potato in your bowl. If you find any pieces of skin while mixing, just remove those. And we're just going to mash them up. Add a little water. There's that pesky skin. You're just looking for a mushy texture here. Yeah, I think we nailed it. A little transfer to a nice bowl here because we're going to need that mixing bowl again very soon. And we've got our butternut squash. These cooked at the same time as the potatoes, so just remove the foil, let them cool off a little bit. See, they're nice and soft. There's actually pools of liquid in the seed cavity, but after letting them sit for a minute, that liquid soaked right back into the squash. So again, we're going to remove the guts from the squash, much like the potato, making sure not to have any skin in our bowl. It should come off very easily if cooked all the way. So we're just going to repeat our potato step here with the mashing. So I tend to mash, I tend to mix. I don't think there's any right way to do it as long as you're removing these little skins that you find. Now we'll just set that into a nice bowl, let that cool down a little bit. Let's check up on our carrots. They've been steaming for about 45 minutes now. They are fork tender. That's really all we're looking for. That pan might be hot, just be careful. Now we're going to save some of the liquid because, as you'll see, it is a little carrot colored. So there are some nutrients in there that we're going to want to use when making the puree. Now we'll be moving on to apples and pears. Begin by peeling them entirely. So I found cutting the ends off after peeling it just ensures that there's no peel when you're actually dicing it. I would recommend doing this. I cut the ends off, cut the sides off, and we're just going with that rough chop again. Here's a little trick. If you find a core piece, you can just wedge your knife in there and twist. It should come right out. Now I'm going to lay these apple pieces on a lined pan. It's got parchment on it so that they don't get dirty. So we're going to repeat the same steps with the pears now, removing the stems, the seeds, and the skin. And we're going to cook them in the steamer. Now these are going to cook a little quicker than the carrots, about 15 minutes depending on ripeness. I had some pea puree left over from last time I did this, so I picked up some fresh spinach. We'll make a quick pea and spinach puree. Now the pea puree was really simple. I just had a frozen bag of peas. I thawed them out in warm water, brought them together in this beautiful blender that only costs about $100. Definitely recommend investing in a nice blender if you're going to be making your baby food from scratch. and she was a little thick, so I decided to add a little water to it. And most of it got in there. Now we're going to want to blend this very smooth. In fact, we're going to want to blend everything very smooth today. Now I got these nifty little silicone molds at Walmart. They were a little more expensive than I anticipated, but they'll do the trick. And we're just going to fill them up almost to the top. So now we've got some fruit. I've got some frozen blueberries and mango that I thawed out overnight. Pureed those smooth with whatever juices were in the bowl after thawing. The mango was very straightforward. Didn't have any problems. It pureed nice and smooth. What a beautiful color. Blueberries, on the other hand, I did drain out some of the thawed out water from the blueberries so that the puree wouldn't be too watery. I would also highly recommend, if doing this, to puree the blueberries last because I had to scrub this blender. So pureeing the pears was a little more difficult than the apples, probably because they're a little more out of season, but in the end, it's all sauce, baby.
A few moments later.
And here's the final product. Not the most difficult cooking, but definitely satisfying. And after about a day in the freezer, we've got these old pea purees I mentioned before. That's why we use the silicone molds, because they come out super easily. No need for pan spray or oil. For storing these, I just put them in a little Ziploc bag. 4 seem to fit in per bag. And to thaw them out, I would just put one in a single bag and just run cold water over it. And that's that.